Alright, so we're checking out yet another budget FPV goggle here from Eachine, and it seems like Eachine is just trying all kinds of different kinds of designs. I think the one that's different about this one is the optics that they're using here to generate the image. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Just going to go over the goggle itself. You can see it comes with a DVR. It's the Eachine Pro DVR, so it does have a switchable resolution from like I think 640 by 480 VGA up to 720p. It operates the same way, same bit rate, everything. So basically, they just took the Eachine Pro DVR and integrated into this goggle. You have two antennas here, and these whip antennas are included. But the receiver is a single receiver, so it's not dual diversity, not two receivers. It's a single receiver with antenna diversity. Reception is similar to all the other ones that have antenna diversity, like I think the VR005, VR006. Those, and this, obviously this is in the same kind of price range. This is about $50 right now, so it doesn't surprise me that it's using sort of the same technology. So the reception is going to be okay. Obviously, you could probably upgrade these antennas. I think these are RPSMA antennas. Yeah, these are RPSMA antennas. So if you're looking for like super long range with a budget goggle, this is probably not going to be the one for you. However, you can have an external receiver here. So if you have a ground station or some sort of an adapter for like a rapid fire, if you want to use these goggles with a rapid fire, you can use this AV in here and use an external receiver, and all you just do is plug it in. As soon as it detects the signal, it'll switch over to that. There's no button or anything in the menu to switch over to the AV, and so as soon as you plug it in, it'll go ahead and switch over. So you can see here that we have a micro USB port here. That's for charging the battery. It's a 1S 1000 milliamp hour battery. I got roughly 40 minutes of power on time, of continuous power on time before the battery needed to be recharged. These goggles do have an adjustable IPD adjustment dial here, and it adjusts from 60 to 68 millimeters. So let me just show you the range here. Okay, so this is all the way in, and that's all the way out. So that's the range of the IPD adjustment. So may or may not be enough for you, so you want to check with that. And as you can tell here, it does have two lenses here for two separate screens. So a lot of people online were thinking this is like a box goggle, and you just have basically two openings to a single screen. Now, it's actually two individual 2-inch screens. They're 480 by 360 resolution. It's okay. I mean, it's not super high resolution, but the way these optics work here, it generates a 120-degree field of view. So for me, I have like the corners cut off, so I see a circle here, and then the corners of the screen are cut. I can't see the whole screen, and I have to have this pressed all the way onto my face as tight as possible. I have to have these headbands as tight as possible so that I can focus on the screen. And even when it's all the way forward to my eye, I can't see the entire screen. I did have a friend try these on, and he was able to see the entire screen without any trouble. So I think it's, like as with any FPV goggle, it's really going to depend on your eyes. Some people are going to have better time with this than others. So again, if you have someone that maybe has one of these, I'd suggest trying them out before buying them, because you never know, it may not work for you. And in terms of the fit, I guess the angle here where it meets your head is a very shallow angle, so it's going to be better for people with more flat heads versus more curved heads. So if you have a more curved head, then what you'll find is you'll have light leakage over here on the sides. For me, I have a pretty flat head, so it fit my face really well. I had a little bit of light leakage in the nose area. This has a fairly substantial nose area, but then of course, if you have a really huge nose, then this may not be enough for you. Okay, so taking a look at the buttons, we have a power button here, menu button here, and a plus and a minus. That's for navigating the menu. I don't believe these are speakers. I couldn't find any information about audio, and there's no sound adjustment anywhere that I could see. They look like their speakers should be here, but maybe this is a feature that they were thinking about putting in, but maybe didn't put in at the end. So they possibly designed the case at the beginning and then just decided to leave these in, because I don't hear any audio on it and any way to adjust the audio. You have a button here called S for scan, so you press that and then it'll scan through the band for any live signals, and then you have a B and a CH button there for going through your bands and channels. Okay, so last thing I want to show you is the weight. And online it says it's about 200 grams, and here on my scale it's showing about 230 grams. So it's pretty light, it's not super heavy. Okay, so last I want to show you the image quality. Both of these screens seem to be okay, like no defects that I could tell, like I've seen in some previous goggles I reviewed. As you can see at the top, there's an OSD there, shows your RSSI signal in the upper left-hand corner. Often I can't see that. And then you have your band. I think this is on E1 5658. So in this case, it's showing it as E band, but it's actually race band. That's actually what this is on. 5658 is actually race band 1. So the letters don't correspond correctly. And then you have a little, looks like an SD card there. That shows if you have an SD card in or not. And I don't think this one has one. Yeah, actually, yes. So this one does have an SD card in there. And as you move over to the right, you see the looks like a little film camcorder icon there in yellow. And if you want to start recording, you press the plus button right here. And then when you do that, the little yellow icon will start blinking. So I'm going to show you that. And it starts blinking blue. That means you're recording. And then you press it again, and then I'll stop recording. And then in the upper right hand corner you can see the battery level. Now you can't turn this OSD off, which is kind of annoying. I'm not sure if they'll fix that later, but yeah, that stays on there all the time. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you the center of this image. It's very hard for my camera to focus on the whole screen, so my camera has the same problem that my eyes do. And just to give you an idea of what the image looks like. It's relatively sharp. I think it's using the same screens that are on the FPV watches that are out there. I think it's about the same resolution. So, and obviously with blown up with the magnifying lens here, it does look like it's a very large field of view. Now what I tried to do is actually open this up, and I'll show you a photo here of what I did. I took basically the bottom part of this off with these screws here, and I was going to see if I could take these lenses out, because I think this is the main reason why I can't see the whole screen, because it's blowing it up so huge. And it turns out that this whole mechanism here is kind of difficult to take apart. It's on clips, and I didn't want to take the entire goggle apart, so I just left it on there. So yes, I wanted to see if I would have a better viewing experience if I could take these lenses out, because I don't like giant field of views anyway. So it would have been better for me to take the lens out anyway, and then just see a smaller field of view and just see the screens as they are. I'm thinking that would work out better for me, but I was not able to figure out how to take apart this basically is inside here is like a box shape here, and there's a screen over here, and it's on 2 pieces and a bunch of clips. I think I broke a couple of them, but it still wouldn't come apart. So they did something, and maybe they glued it together or something like that to keep the dust out possibly. But yeah, I wasn't able to successfully remove these lenses. I'm thinking if you do that, you might have a better chance of focusing on the screen, but you'll have a smaller field of view. Okay, so that's going to pretty much do it for my review of the Eachine EW30. It's just like any other of these budget type of goggles. It's going to be hit and miss. Either it's going to work great for you, and you're going to be able to see it really well, or you're going to have a really terrible experience. It's going to really vary by the person. I like the fact that they're trying something a little bit different with these optics here. This is kind of the style of, I think, Top Sky did something like this, I think, recently. But it's going to be hit and miss, because like for me, it didn't work out so great, but for my friend, he had no issues with it. So, again, it's really going to depend on the person and your eyes, what kind of, prescription you have, if you're wearing glasses or not, for example. All those are factors. In terms of the weight, the comfort for me was fine. It fit my face fine. It's just not being able to get a good image from the screen, that is going to be a problem. For me, it was a problem, so obviously I can't use these. But I'm thinking that if you are able to focus on the screens, you can see that the screen quality isn't bad for the cost. You get 2 screens. It is I guess a single receiver with dual antennas, so the reception isn't going to be that great. But for $50 as a budget entry level, goggle, you can't really complain too much about those type of things. That's pretty typical for this budget range. It's just that whether or not you'll be able to see the image and use it, that's the thing. And I obviously can't really tell you that because it's going to really depend on the person and the kind of experience that you've had with these kind of goggles before. But they're kind of, it's kind of like a box goggle, but kind of not like a box goggle because it has two different screens. You have an IPD adjustment, so it's kind of like a really, really cheap set of Fat Sharks with a bigger screen and some wacky optics here for focusing the screen. And again, may work for you, may not work for you. So my best advice is to try and get a hold of these somewhere and see if they work for you. And if that's the case, then yeah, go ahead and get them. But yeah, otherwise, I think you're probably gambling, taking a chance. If you're willing to take the chance and maybe get somewhere where you can return it, then that might be worth the trouble. Anyway, that's my advice on these goggles. They seem fine for the money if you can be able to see the image, but otherwise, yeah, they're going to have some trouble. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.